Reinvest in gear, maintain good client relationships, and sort of repeat that again and again and again. And that's where we are today. My name is Thomas Arnold. I'm 23. I make YouTube videos, so you call me a YouTuber, and I run my own video business, Fearless Media, out of this office. The first YouTube video I ever made was when I was 14, so that was almost a decade ago. How to bat in cricket. So I used to be a mad cricket fanatic, and I've sort of been making videos ever since then. I wasn't particularly artsy in school, and that is an interesting fact because I didn't have the ability to draw, but as soon as I got on the laptop and I was editing an iMovie, I realized that I did have artistic ability, but it just wasn't in the traditional sense of, you know, pen and paper. When I was 18, I went to this cafe in Skerries, which was near where I was raised in Fingal. There was this coffee shop, and my best friend Sean said, "Tom, the owner Mel wants us to make a video." I was like, "You cannot be serious. This cafe wants us to make a video. I can't believe it." So we spent a week of our summer in 2015 making this video, and we edited it together, both myself and Sean. We sent it off to the coffee shop owner. She loved it so much, she paid us €150, and it was as if we'd robbed a bank. I couldn't believe that we'd actually earned money from doing something we actually like. Ever since then, it's sort of gone from strength to strength in a way. I basically went down the business route when it came to videos, and my best friend Sean went down the film route. So I went to business school in college, and I started making videos for businesses. So I started off by pitching different departments in UCD that they could get, you know, testimonial videos for their different departments. And it's sort of grown from word of mouth, from the main focus being make cool videos, reinvest in gear, maintain good client relationships, and sort of repeat that again and again and again. And that's where we are today. I have one employee. We have an office here in town. We've worked with brands like Microsoft, Accenture, Red Bull. It's been a very fun journey. There's this spectrum between business people and artists. And artists care about the art a lot. They find it hard to price stuff. They really care about the quality of something. And then there's the business people who are all about sort of selling the products. They don't care as much about how pretty it looks, but they know how to do the business side of it. And I'd sort of recommend one of two things. Either get a business person to complement your weaknesses. So find a friend who's good at pricing up jobs and doing it that way. But generally speaking, charge twice as much as you think, because generally it takes a lot more time than you think. And as soon as you get a quote for like €100, say to starting off, you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that. And then when you charge for €500, you'll say, oh my God, I can't believe I was able to do that. I remember the day I got my first job that was $1,000, I was like, I can't believe this money exists. But over time, I think your prices should be increasing as more demand comes in. The more people who want your services, you should generally increase the price. Always charge by project, because hourly rates is like, first of all, if someone comes to me and says, what's your hourly rate? I tell them that they can go find somebody else, because I don't charge by the hour. So if you're coming to me, you want to work with me, I'm going to price it up based on the project. How I price it up is how I price it up. If you don't like that or you don't have the budget, I'll pass you on to somebody else. Now, when you're starting off, you might need to price by the hour. So you might say, this is going to take me 4 hours. I charge €30 an hour, and that's whatever, €120 for the project. But generally speaking, I add up how much time I think it's going to take me. I'll add on my margin on top of that. So there's the cost, there's my margin, and then also it'd be a clever idea to look at the business that you're dealing with, because some places don't take you seriously unless you charge a few €1,000. Other places, they might be more price sensitive and they can only afford a few hundred. So keep that in mind as well when you're pricing up a job. And probably the best tip I have is that I ask everybody, well, what's your budget? So like, how much money do you have? And if I can work with that, I can work with it. If I can't, I can't. Generally, people have like a price in their head, and you can either tell them that's way too low, or you can say, okay, I can work with that, but I can only do this amount for that budget. I love making sales, and I love the day-to-day running of the business. I'm definitely not as passionate about the actual camera work as I used to be. I'm way more interested now in the whole side of like client relationships and doing pitches for new business and finding new people to work with. And the biggest thing I've learned anyway is that I have one person who works for me now. On shoots, I generally get in people who are better than me for shooting purposes. And I think the biggest thing I've learned is that to be a one-man band is really giving a disservice to yourself, because a team is always so much better than an individual. Go fast, go alone, go far, go together. So what I want to do moving forward is bring together great people in their areas of specialization to make a much better product than to do stuff all by myself. So with the pandemic, all my event work got cut off, which was 50% of my business prior to COVID. But what did remain was my retainers, so people who were paying me on a monthly basis, and they just said that they would move everything to online. So actually it was great, because I found out what a truly remote solution would look like, where you just do everything from your laptop. And that was a lot less stressful, because I didn't have to go around town going to loads of different shoots. And on the tail end of the pandemic, I actually got a lot more business in for monthly retainers. So my business has actually increased, which is a blessing, because I know a lot of people have been decimated by the pandemic. It's been cool to learn what does a solution look like where I do it mainly from my laptop and only shoot a few times a month. So that way I don't get burned out and the workload's a lot more manageable. And if I have too much work, I can offload it to my employees. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of college work, to be honest. I spent a lot of time doing YouTube videos and doing freelance work, because college it's not that demanding. Like, it's demanding in your final year. Everything other than that, it's not that demanding. So I was never that interested in being busy and stuff that I didn't think really mattered. I turned it on in final year and I got a 2-1. So I put a lot more work into final year than other years. But other than that, it was just working as hard as I could and doing all those basic time management things, like getting up early, going to bed early, working out, blocking off distractions on my laptop, all those basic things, I did them. I'd say my first year of videography, I might have made €5,000, which doesn't sound like a lot. Like, it's not a lot. But that was probably like 20 videos or something. The main thing that got me from say 5 to 30 up until last year was that prices just generally went up. If the supply is very high, the demand is generally quite low. So if there's a load of generic videographers out there, it's hard for you to demand a high price. But if there's a lower supply of people who are actually good, they can generally demand a higher price. And I was just seeing that slowly but surely my business, I was just becoming better. And better doesn't mean necessarily that my image quality was amazing. I was just a better business person than a lot of the artists out there, because there's a lot of artists who just don't know how to do business. And I was able to sort of mix both of them. So the 30,000 was made up of just bigger clients in terms of they had bigger budgets. And also I was just pricing more appropriately. And just word of mouth, like I was getting more projects as well. So generally speaking, you're gonna have more, I think generally speaking, your money should be going up over time. As word of mouth increases, as your business gets better, and as you're learning to price more appropriately and move into new markets. Yeah, I only have one stream of income, so that's my business. My business has retainer work and sort of single project work. I think it was quite weak before because I was very reliant on just the next job, whereas now I have retainer work where they sign contracts as a certain amount of months, so I'm guaranteed a certain amount of income. So they're actually my only 2 streams of revenue. Don't have money through YouTube yet. Merchandise is a quite weak business model unless you're at scale in terms of how many subscribers you have, because the margins on clothes are not great. So if you are selling a hoodie for €40, it's probably going to cost you 15 to 20 to get it made, and then you have to add shipping onto that. So your profit margins are quite bad, versus if you had some form of course where you made it and you sold it for say 19 to 20 or like 19 to €30 or something, you're going to make pure margin on that because there's no additional cost after you've spent the time to make it. So like moving forward, I would be thinking of business models where there's more scale and good margins and less hassle. There's a great book called Run Studio Run by a guy called, I think his name is Philip Altman. Definitely Altman is his second name. And I just read that book, to be honest, and see what he did. The main thing is that you just need some business to get you going. And generally speaking, if you're afraid of pricing, then send it to a friend and see how they'd price it. And generally speaking, charge more, because often a lot of the time creatives feel weird charging money or whatever, but ultimately you need money to live. If the client doesn't respect that, then they're not the right client to work with. If you're starting off, I get videos in lots of different sectors for cheap, just so then if somebody else comes to you, you can say you've made a property video or a wedding or a social media video or a barbershop video. Just have like a few different things in your portfolio to show off. And then after that, Bob's your uncle, Mary's your auntie. Like, you just need to do as much biz dev as you can, which is business development, which is just like outreach and meeting people and telling people what you do. The more you tell people what you do, the more work will come to you. Artists often just stay in their shell and only think about, oh, I want to make a cool video, but they don't spend the time getting to build their network. So building your network, which just means meeting people, is probably the biggest thing in business. I can't tell you how many times where I've met a new person and they've said, oh, I've got a job coming up, I'll think of you. Whereas most artists just stay in their house behind their laptops. So you got to get out there and meet as many people as you can. I see myself in like a massive gaff, lovely wife, great people around me, and probably a big online following, but I need time. And mainly living a life that I think is just sick, you know? That's probably the biggest thing in my head at this point in my life is it's just important to live your life in such a way that you think it's really cool, not defined by society's parameters of what they think is cool, but what you intrinsically feel is a life worth living. And although a lot of life is very mundane, like 95% of it, as long as you're working towards stuff that you think is cool and interesting and you're being happy and fun and carefree, then I think that's what living a meaningful life is to me.
First of all, I want to say a big thanks to Thomas for helping out with the video and talking about this topic. It's definitely not talked about a lot, especially in Ireland. Thank you for watching the video. Speaking about all of this, I created a Patreon where you can go buy one of my tiers and get exclusive behind the scenes content on there. I created this Patreon because YouTube at the moment is not helping me earn anything, not monetized or anything. I just recently started to post regularly, and yes, it's been hard earning as well, and I don't have like any client work now as well, so it's definitely been hard to earn. So I'd really appreciate it if you bought one of the tiers, and just to support me with future projects, like I said. And in return, you'll be getting a lot of just behind the scenes stuff, just a lot of knowledge, how I've been creating recently, my whole process we're creating. It's different for everyone. So yeah, full details down below in the description, and you can go sign up today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've got another video dropping pretty soon. It'll be my last upload for the year. It's gonna be a little 2020 video. That's about it. I hope at least this one person got something out of this video.